Greetings, everyone. I'm Gina, and I'm so happy you're here today because I would love for you to hang out while I create a layout for my traveler's notebook using the Felicity Jane Tailor Kit for October. I plan to do an insert for the very first entry for my October traveler's notebook, which I have a video on how I made my cover using some really fun paper. I do slip covers onto my traveler's notebooks, and this helps to protect them a little bit. They're cute, and also if I don't get through the whole thing, I can adjust my cover to, create, kind of demonstrate what's inside. This is my title page, and then today, first entry will go into here. I will be gluing in my layout pieces to my October traveler's notebook. Today, I'm documenting my daughter Aspen moving into her very first apartment, and I want to show you some of the things I'll be using today. We'll start off with the washi. The washi that came with the kit is this it's beautiful. It's like a rusty, warm, cozy fall color with little polka dots, little white polka dots. I have this other washi that's from my stash, but my color scheme is going to be sort of that fall and burgundy, mustardy color, and white, of course. And then also, what would it be without some black and white? The paper that I'm using today is one of the 6 that come in the kit, 6 12 by 12s that I've already pre-cut and did some scoring because I have some ideas for my picture of Aspen that I'm going to be documenting. And then, just love all the papers that Felicity Jane has, and it always coordinates. What's nice is all of the kits also kind of work together, and you can make really anything work. The other thing I'm going to use that I'm excited about are the Felicity Jane letter stickers. This is the Alpha. It is white with a gold thin inlay. I know it's probably hard to see on the video, but they are super sweet. And speaking of sweet, I have already put out and prepared the letters I'll be using, and I'm really excited about those. I also have the embellishments. Let's talk embellishments. These are so sweet. The colors are just stunning, and they of course coordinate with the papers and with the other things that come in the kit as well. And I'm planning on using maybe one of those scallops. Definitely going to be using this sweet little kind of like door sign, craft sign or something. The other thing I love are stamp sets that come in every month. And this is the one from Taylor. And I am going to use one of the border stamps that came this month in the Taylor kit. And it's this little kind of checked, clean, I don't know how you would describe this, but little squares, super cute. And I'm hoping to do a little background. And I've already adhered it to a long little mound block that I have. The other thing are these. Oh, I love these Felicity Jane essential label stickers. Now, there are many labels and embellishments that come in the die cuts that are in here, often in all the kits, but these stickers are of such good quality, and look at these colors. The colors that come in them are always on this little tab, and this is the number 2 essential label stickers, and I also have the number 1, which was a part of a previous kit, but I'm going to use the number 2 today. I'm going to be implementing this particular color into my design. There were some cute sequins. I don't have necessarily a plan for these at the moment, but I just love them, and they just are going to sit there and look pretty. The final thing that I may implement today are one of the, or 2 or 3 of the epoxy stickers that come in the kit. Really sweet. Remember this, beautiful, happy day, and then some very sweet stickers. So those are some of the things I'm going to be using today to create my layout and to document a really special time in my daughter's life. And let's, without further ado, get to creating. Thanks again for being here. Let's do this. I start out with some of my pre-cut paper. These beautiful Felicity Jane background papers are my favorite. I've cut them into 2, I think they're 1/2-inch strips. The width of my standard wide notebook is 5 inches, so those are each 5 inches long, and I'm trying to line them up the best I can. I love the double-sided pages that come 12 by 12, but I decided to take this small piece of scrap and utilize kind of using the two folds to show the very back and the front and extend my picture out a little bit. Taking my tiny attacher, one of my favorite tools, and just popping those on and placing that down. Not adhering it yet because I want to play around with this background stamp. I use my StazOn ink, and this reminds me of a waffle cone. That was the word I was looking for earlier. I am taking it down, and I have the idea that I want to have the color and the pattern sort of border the picture. But you are going to see that I changed my mind, which is allowed. I play around with the placement of the picture, and I'm kind of thinking I did it in the wrong place and should have made a better plan for myself, but that is part of the process. So I'm going to give myself permission in a second to cover it up because I'm just not liking it. Not happy, so I'm going to change my mind. That little sentiment right there that says today's win, I cut that from a 3x4 journaling card that I actually made a mistake on when I printed my journaling on it and decided that the sentiment would go well for today's win. And so I cut that out and I'm going to put that a little later on a little label. So I'm making what I like to call a belly bouquet. I call the embellishments and putting them all together into a beautiful bouquet. Some people call it a cluster, which is a cute name, but I like the term belly bouquet. So that's sort of what I call that when I'm putting things together and stacking and layering things. I decide I am going to wait a little while on that right hand side. I think sometimes when you walk away from something and then come back, you get a better feel for what you'd like to do. So I'm taking this adorable scallop, checkered black and white, love, and I put it on the handmade card. I actually did this journaling card on a piece of white cardstock and ran it through my printer. And it has the journaling and story of the day on that card. So now I just want to make sure that I decide wherever I put this that it's going to be in a appropriate space. So I decided to do the top of my banner first. I took the little embellishment that says cozy and have cozy sweet home as a part of my title. I again am now figuring, shall I decide to switch the picture in the journaling? Again, part of the process, and it's okay. I think that's part of it. Decide what you're going to do and change your mind if you want to. Now, you're going to see me do something here that is going to probably make you cringe. But I'm actually taking the word sweet, which I love this little tip. You can put those letters and prepare them on a piece of wax paper or acetate. This happens to be a piece of old scrap on a sticker from previous stickers that I've used. And I love that because you can kind of place it and then decide where you would want it to go. Well, right about here remind myself that I wanted to stitch those two strips on my sewing machine. And I am kind of thinking to myself, I think it's right about here, and I say, oh no, I put down those chipboard letters because they're kind of they definitely are. Oh yeah, here's where it goes. I start deciding, oh, I'm gonna just take these off so I can stitch on my sewing machine. Otherwise, they would get in the way of my stitch. And okay, hang on, don't get too upset. But I was going to take this out, but I decided you needed to see the whole story. Yeah, I pretty much just tear them off my page. I am at this point going, oh no, what have I done? Do I want to stitch this that bad? And I say, yes, I do. So I take those off. I've made a complete mess of the cardstock, but I've come too far. So I just throw those letters over to the top and decide I'll come back. I pull my sewing machine up here. I love this is my, just my starter sewing machine my very first one I ever got. And I love it because I have a denim kind of needle in there and it takes me through and I can stitch my cardstock. I have to say, this isn't as clean and pretty as I had hoped, but I'm going to go ahead and run a stitch on both of those top border pieces on the top of my layout. And I'm going to go right over that little circle that says cozy, which is so cute. I'm going to cut those little strings off. And personally, I love to quilt. I love implementing stitching into my um, card making and memory keeping. So now it's time to deal with the letters. Oh dear. I am going to just confess, I have many imperfections on this layout, but that's what makes it mine, and that's what makes the story telling so fun. I say, well, there are no mistakes, only opportunities to be creative and add more layering. So I add a little piece of a scrap that I have from my cutouts. And this is where I have a little bit of a fight with my tape runner. I have a variety of different tape, and I decide this one has, you can kind of see them on the letters, so that's a no-go. Then I pull out my big giant monster, and I decide it's too, too big. This is really not my favorite part to show you guys, but I decide that I am going to just stick these down. There's some paper sticking out of that E, and I actually never really address it, but again, it's part of the process. I run and go get my smaller adhesive, and it works much better. I continue putting on these sweet little letters. I love them. And I think you can see the gold inlay of those, and it's just so delicate and sweet. This little home sign, I just think it's adorable. And I was hoping it sort of would draw the eye. Cozy sweet home is what my intentions were. Cut off a few of those straggly little threads. That's part of the charm. And I attempt to head back to this side. So I decide, what are we doing? Still puzzled. But now I decide, just commit, just start laying stuff down and let's make it happen. This cute little doormat was one that Aspen had picked up and was excited to put on her front door. We got a lot of pictures that I'm going to put in my project life, but I really wanted to just document this special day that we had where my husband and I just had fun moving her in. My husband put her bed together and did it wrong the first time, so had to put it together a second time. While Aspen and I made lots of trips up and down the stairs to get her car unloaded. Very fun. So now I added a few of those embellishments, and I'm kind of liking kind of the idea of seeing the layout as one piece instead of 2 pages. So I decide definitely time to pull out the washi. It's rare to miss putting washi on a layout. I absolutely love this sweet little rusty red colored polka dotted washi that came with the October Tailor kit. And then the other washi I am using, I am so sorry, I can't remember where I got it. It's in my stash and it's one of my favorite. Do you see that earthquake there? Oh, I'm so sorry. Anyway, I decide to use some of my dimensional pieces of tape to kind of add that little sentiment piece that says today's win, because it was a good find at Target. Target is where we love to go to find all of our fun home goods. And it's fun to watch Aspen create what she enjoys and what she likes. So I add one of the sweet stickers, the epoxy stickers. These are so fun. And I thought at the beginning I might use one or two. I end up, you'll see, I just end up I just keep sticking them on. Oh, I think it's important to understand that sometimes the planning that you have done at the beginning, when it changes, it can be fun to try and make up what you're supposed to do, but oh well, here I go again with this stamp. And you just saw me put down one of those Elements label stickers. Ugh, love those. I decide I want to mask that label sticker with this kind of border, and then I find, oh no, it doesn't go down. I think my paper's too thick, so I try again. I decide, uh-oh, not loving it, but I've come too far to turn back now, so I'm just going to continue making kind of, again, just a piece of, I just want the color and a structure to kind of enhance the background. And I'm pleased I put it on this side because it sort of helps to draw that black and white on that page that I have put on the scalloped edge and then the sweet border. I just decide, you know what? We're just going to make it work. A little of it will show. We'll see what we can do here. I love these little scallops. I think for a second I might use that one, and I decide quickly that that is not my plan. But I am trying to place this in a nice even row. I remember, hey, pull out your T. This tool is one that I love to use just to help keep things even. I like to eyeball things. I'd call myself an eyeballer, but when possible, this T helps me to stay balanced. So I pop that down, add some more of that amazing washi, and now I'm not too disappointed. The stamping of the background, I decide I'll kind of like cover it up. That's the cool thing about our memory keeping. We can make something that didn't turn out. More epoxy stickers. This sweet little rust brown bow was a perfect addition to cover up some of that. Um, and then I just continue to kind of work up the side with some more of my embellishment bouquet. And I'm thinking at this point, I need to fill that space up at the top there. Definitely wanted to draw in some of that other striped washi, but I think to myself, I think I need to, yeah, put something in that white space there. And I had intended all along to do that, but then I got to a point where I wasn't exactly sure what I had planned to put there. So here we go. We're just going to take these epoxy stickers that I'm in love with and take this little leaf, pop it on that corner just to pull some of that kind of gold and fall color up to the top. Little cluster of hearts. And again, just looking at what I have laid out, trying to keep it simple. I love that little epoxy. It was one of the labels and it said, that's the one that said a happy day, which it was. We laughed a lot and had a lot of fun. Love those little tabs. So I love the pink. Pink is definitely one of my all-time favorite colors, but I love to weave it through all of my layouts no matter what I have. And it might not be the most fallish color, especially that pastel pink, but I love the contrast it gives. So I love these little epoxy dots. I'm just going to kind of stick them around. Then I pull out these sentiments from a previous kit, from the Gabby kit, and I remember, oh yeah, I have this sweet little floral that I'd like to use. I realized up there's not a lot of um, action. So I decide, okay, well, I don't want to force any. I kind of like the simplicity and the clean look of that. So I decide I think I'll just pop that on, use some dimensionals, and kind of corner that picture of my daughter and that tab. I'm having a fight with all of my adhesives today, including these dimensionals. I like that because it stretches the picture and the side of it up. So back to these sweet little sentiment. These are from the stamp set in, I don't remember what month that was for Gabby. I haven't actually had a chance to use them yet, so it's my first time pulling them out. And I like this little one that says, "You can do hard things." It just speaks to my sweet girl and just her finding her path, and very exciting time as she goes out, as we cut strings and give wings and let her fly. Um, yeah, so I'm going to stamp this a couple of times, especially since it's a new stamp. Sometimes it's good to give it some practice runs. And I go down and stamp that right there. And I feel like I need something to kind of finish it off. So I think I put a little, another one, another epoxy dot. And I want to say I go in a little cluster of 3. And right now I'm thinking, I like what I'm seeing. I'm feeling like I need to probably stop so I don't, I probably could have kept going, probably could have added more stamps or more embellishments, but I'm really, I think I'm feeling it. I think I'm ready to do my last thing, and that's to put my date stamp on. It's a commanding date stamp that I have. It's one of my favorites to use. It's straight over, just shows the date is 10/3/2020. I decide I'm going to put it on the side and just roll it back to document this special day. I think I am done. The last thing I need to do is just add a little embellishment there. And now I think I'm satisfied for the most part. The last thing I need to do is put them into my traveler's notebook, taking a little look at the stitching again. Just a little bit of some texture that is always my favorite. I think it just adds so much. So this is my October memories that I have for my traveler's notebook for October. And I'm getting this first layout in. And since the corners are rounded, oh yes, I play around with, well, do I want the picture on the left or the right? I think that's, again, the plan could change. Be flexible. So I round these corners to put into my traveler's notebook. And then I'm going to take my red line tape to make sure that it is adhered to those pages. I love this stuff. And just going to peel that off. I always like to leave just a hair of space in that crease there so it doesn't fold my cardstock. And I go ahead and take all the tape off, and then I try not to commit, but just lightly set it in. Again, leaving a tiny, trying to make sure it's straight, but leaving a tiny hair of space in that crease of the binding. And that is going to be called Done and in the Books. My traveler's notebook, that is. Thanks for being here today with me. I hope you enjoyed and were a little inspired and find joy in your creativity. Thank you, and we'll see you next time. Bye.